good? Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Israelites come in week out, day in, day out. The prophets are the downfall of the nation of America. Also known as Babylon the Great according to the Holy Scriptures. Before we get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
Nobody is the process of the great news of the Lord. Shalom, by the peace and mercy to the elect. All right. Your brother from the GMS Cleveland Church. We got the beloved elder brothers from GMS Richmond, Virginia Church. You know, that the prophets are the downfall and destruction of this place. You see, it's just some various topics. You know, brothers gonna go into particular prophets and how RAWCHAA is to edify a message. You know, so.
It's Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice in the heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Yeah, the devil is on this earth, the so-called white man, okay? And we know we have a short time to rule because we got to the power, all right? That's why Trump passed that big, beautiful bill, as brother's speaking about, which is a tax cut. I mean, it's a budget cut bill, all right? And the main thing that people are pissed off about that bill is Medicaid food stamps, all right? And other things, various things. But yeah, this is Trump. He's that cool Lord, man. And, he tricked you people, okay? He tricked you mega supporters. All right, make America great again. He's making America worse. All right, and there's no rebound from this. All right, due to the laws he has passed, man. All right, get that second scripture. Yeah.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 50. It says, love not the world, neither things.
No, it should be the.
Verse 18.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he did. It's like.
You got it.
I'm sorry, 15.
Whatever the brother.
Yeah, it's your point.
Okay, 18. It's 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. It says, little children, it is the last time. It says, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now, as there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.
Right, so it kills the doctrine of these other camps on about, you know, there's that certain Antichrist is gonna come, that whole bullshit. No, it just means that outside, okay? Our Lord and Savior. Alright, and the ultimate Antichrist is Esau Edom. Due to the laws of passing, you know what I'm saying? His whole ways, his whole setup, man. Alright? Right now what's going on, you got Esau Edom, he's deporting our people, mainly our tribe, and the children of Israel. He's not deporting them Africans and all that stuff like that. He's not focused on them. He's focused on our people because they're the tribes. Alright? And you know, it's a big uproar about people are losing their minds, they're outraged. Now it's important that Trump, he's deporting southern people, man, like the Haitians and the Jamaicans and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. And not only that, he's not even deporting back to their country. Because you got people reporting that you got a Florida concentration camp called Alcatraz. All right, he throwing your ass down there, and your ass might get tortured, man. Or what's the other one y'all called? What's the other one called, y'all?
Which one?
Not Guantanamo.
Well, you had actually the regular Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yeah, that's
Alcatraz is the regular one.
Yep, and then you got Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz, or something like that.
May I make a statement?
Go.
That's in the Florida Everglades too. It's surrounded by like wildlife and shit like that.
It's been alleged that they've been rounding up immigrants allegedly and taking them over the ocean. All right, in those C-130 type planes that can allow the rear tailgate to open mid-flight and just dropping bodies allegedly into the ocean. This is the wickedness of what the brothers read about in Revelation 12:12. This devil coming down having great wrath, man. Just add it to your point, bro.
And adding on to your point, it's the main news 31 lights since January.
Got it.
might get in the pocket for Ecclesiastes 34:22. Because over there right now, the scripture says the earth shall rise up against them, right? And right now, you got over there in Philly, you got people on the sanitation trash strike, man. All right, they're striking because the money that they're paying people to work for sanitation, they're not paying them enough money because the price of living has gone up. All right, and then people demanding a higher wage, man. And that's what, see, man, that's the problem with you, Esau, man. You don't want to pay people for their worth, man. Okay? There's a lot of problems that we fix if we just pay people more, but this motherfucker's so greedy. All right? He said no. Okay? He just wanted this part of the world, he's gonna work your ass to the bone. All right? He's gonna squeeze all the juice out you. It's like the same way you squeeze a lemon or something like that, a lime. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna squeeze all the juice out you and then throw you away. It's like that.
Yeah, that's the whole part of it. That's the whole point of this man's system. He pretty much works you to death, you know what I'm saying? And he brings in a new individual that can replace you, man.
And Morgan said it, he said a battery.
Yep.
He showed a battery.
Yep.
A battery, you use the battery, use the juice out of that motherfucker and throw it away. It's like that. That shit crazy.
I got that. I got that.
Get that and then start to get in there.
It's Sirach 34:21. The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth them thereof is a man of blood.
Yeah, if I can say something to that, it says the bread of the needy is your life, right? So here it is, people, because Elder Yahawah, he brought it out a few times. You had something called economic slave, right? If you look up an economic slave, it's pretty much a person that has to work for their daily bread and to produce for themselves in order to sustain themselves, right? Right now, we're pretty much in a rat race with the system. Like the average person, like I said, slaving for themselves, providing for themselves. So if you take away that living, either their jobs or the way they make their money, you're pretty much a bloodshedder. Which we're gonna speak about that in brother T. Yeah, I was just saying like an economic slave is a person that pretty much has to provide for themselves.
Pretty much one individual living check.
There you go.
There you go. Which the vast majority of us are all living check to check.
Sirach 34:22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshed.
Well, to be an employer is a slave. I mean, it's like an employee to an employer is a slave. Literally in the definition itself. But like the other brother Amar just mentioned, if you're living check to check and you're being defrauded of that living, for example, due to AI, all right, because they're transferring a lot of jobs to this automated intelligence, or what is it, artificial intelligence, all right, you're losing your jobs to robots, allegedly, okay? Then he's defrauding you of your living. He's a bloodshed, right? Because he's keeping you from being able to provide for your family. Brothers got not only themselves to take care of, they got women and children. You see, and necessities that have to get provided for. So if this Edomite man is not allowing you to do what you need to do in order to provide, okay, in the big beautiful bill, right? Which I was just looking up on it, going into it, and the SNAP benefits, all right, welfare recipients as well as dealing with Medicaid.
Edomites.
Edomites.
We always mention this every time we talk about Lyndon Baines Johnson and how it was a legislation that was passed with the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? That shit was for the Edomites. They the main ones. They the highest recipients of welfare in the United States of America. So that shit, that legislation was passed for those poverty-prone whites. You know what I'm saying? Trailer park trash. Edomite, redneck Edomites, you know, like the Edomites they showed you on what's that goddamn shit called with Owen Wilson, the movie from 2006 when the niggas was retarded or something. Idiocracy. They showed you that idiocracy. The people that they was using to portray was retarded and all this shit, and then they had the opposite side of the spectrum where they would have the Edomites that didn't want to have no children. And they had the dumb, stupid Edomites on the other side. Oh, they was Edomites up in there who was all retarded. They couldn't put a block in the square.
The vast majority of these people, like you mentioned, that do receive the welfare are Edomites. But this is also going to affect Jake. And this is the time we coming into, the time of Jacob's trouble, right?
But Jake, we used to being low and having nothing. With the Jake had 6 children, a wife, and a 2-bedroom shack. You know what I'm saying? You see, so we familiar with struggle, with hardship. You know what I'm saying? Because the elders, the brother was going into Edomite TikTok about a whole bunch of these Edomites. They up on there complaining and shit. Well, a lot of brothers. I ain't seen one of the elder Moatzes out there. You know, but I think that was him. I think that was him. You know?
You're right. Going to them complaining about this bill that's being passed, right? Dealing with them not being able to keep up with the cost of living and the economy and things like that, how they're being affected. You know, and like you mentioned, Jacob been dealing with this, right? And this is the thing. All you proud motherfuckers who've been relying on this system, trusting in Egypt, all right, are going to be affected by this bill that's coming to get ready to, that's not coming, it's already been signed into law. You got something else? Go ahead.
Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. This is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. And made all the earth drunken. The nation hath drunken of a wine. Like what we wanted to. What was that? With the Rockefeller in the early 1900s, they basically said, I don't need a nation for things, I need a nation for more. So they pretty much had a major system where they were eventually, you know, bringing the civil rights, get everybody soul sweetened, give everybody gifts, soften them up, get them comfortable, give them handouts. People get comfortable and dependent. Because when you make somebody dependent, they're what? They're weak. You break them down and make them weak, like a crackhead or a junkie. When you give them drugs, you make them weak, you make them dependent. That's Esau's system. Then eventually, what happened? Esau came in with the court, Section 8, and welfare, not welfare, but what's the term when they use? They take that same term and take it foreign aid. And they also weaken the nations. And so this is what you're seeing there. Everybody is weak, and now Esau is basically pulling off the what is it that cover cast of being a hero amongst the nation, and he's about to show his horns. So now everybody's upset. But like I said, through YAHAWASHI, we understood this man's a devil. He comes in the, when what, the 1970s, the golden era, Baywatch, he was a hero. But now he's showing you that he's really a zero. He's a demon, he's a devil. Now he's ready to show you his horns.
That's a conditioning.
Yeah.
Esau's conditioning and programming. And ultimately, like we always like to say, all roads lead to the MOTB.
Right.
He's conditioning you, he's coercing you, and he operates out of order, out of chaos, and he uses a process of gradualism, man. I got a quick precept to follow you up. This is in Proverbs 22:7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." And the majority of our people, they think that they ain't servants, that they free.
Some made credit.
Yeah.
Can I bring this on? This is from CBS News, published today, July 4th, 2025, right? I'm going to jump to the point. It says, this bill, talking about the big, beautiful bill, is partially paid for by significant cuts to healthcare and nutrition programs like Medicaid and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The congressional, which most Jacob, all right, depending on that, right? It said the Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill will add $3.4 trillion to federal deficits over the next 10 years and leave millions without health insurance. Republicans and the White House dispute so
No more medicines.
There you go.
No more psych meds. No
Food
more
stamps,
health. No more food
SNAP.
Which, hey man, I'll be honest, shit. Even I use SNAP benefits to my benefit. SNAP, you know what I'm saying, to my benefit, man, as far as using this world. But that's the thing. I'm not solely relying on it. These people are, we relying on the Lord. Trust in him that smote us, Isaiah 10, right? But in trust in YAHAWASHI, the Holy One of Israel, man. All right, our trust lies in YAHAWASHI, man. But the rescue individuals who trust in the shadow of Egypt are going to go down with Egypt, man. As this system is failing, you're going to go down with it, man. Because your whole hope is in this society, in this system. That's why people will be on fucking welfare for decades, man. 30, 40 years.
Been in the projects for 3-4 generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. You know what I'm saying? It's a generational curse. I asked Chat GPT, how will the big beautiful bill affect the poor? You know what I'm saying? Which the poor Israel, right? Is what it said. It said, can you clarify what you mean by the big beautiful bill? That phrase could refer to different things depending on the context. All right, so I put in the context of cutting government assistance like food stamps, Medicare, right? This is what it said. Thanks for clarifying. If the big beautiful bill refers to legislation that cuts government assistance programs like food stamps, Medicaid, or Medicare, the effect on the poor would likely be significant and negative. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to affect our people in a negative way, man.
Right.
Significantly, he says significant. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. Surah 13 and 18. It said, what agreement is there between a man and a dog? What peace between the rich and the poor?
Damn.
As wild ass the lion prey is the wilderness, in the wilderness, so the rich eat the poor. And the proud hate of humility, so do the rich eat the poor.
Yeah, now if I can add, that's why you have this ongoing tension between what the rich and the poor. Like, and what you see right now, this has been an ongoing thing, literally from thousands of years. You always had that aristocratic people, and you have what the like what they call it, the play.
Lower class.
Yeah, the
Middle
middle
class,
class.
yeah, middle class.
Right, the middle class.
So-called,
people.
you only have middle class on the term in
Con.
everywhere else is only rich.
Overlords and serfs.
That's why I would use the term plebeians and patricians. You know what I'm saying? So you had that aristocratic group, and you always had that plebeian group, which is rich and the poor. You always had a beef between those two because you always seen how the poor envied the rich, how they were living. It's nothing different, man. These rich nowadays, now you have something called the super rich or the super elite, where they're living like a luxurious lifestyle to the point you can never fathom. But eventually, what's going to happen, pursuant to the scriptures about the book of Job, we're talking about the we're talking about the workers,
the laborers,
the laborers, which is the workers. They're going to eventually start to create those uproars, man, because of the indifference between the markets, man, and not only just the markets, but just the overall living, man. People catching fucking hell down here, man. The average person, man, they can't afford the cost of living. They can't afford gas, groceries, the necessities of life, man. So what you think gonna fucking happen, man?
And you see that in every historical period, man.
Yes.
Anytime the leaders of society became self-centered and just focused on themselves, greed.
Yep.
What did it say on Rush Hour 2? That the Chinese dude said that Edomite, he had a casino called the Red Dragon.
Yeah,
He was talking to him. He said something like, "Do you know what happened to the emperor?" And he said, "Greed will kill us all." And they stabbed him. So anytime when the heads, all right, they put themselves before the people, that's when the overthrow of the government comes.
That's what caused the riots. What causes the riots? Because the people see they get treated unfairly, and they like, man, fuck this, man. That's when you started tapping the 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 chapter, man.
That's what they're saying about Trump, too, real quick. And with the big, beautiful bill, about how that's what they're saying when you're talking about Trump, he can do whatever he wants to do. And then, you know, his supporters, so to speak, his supporters, they like, man, to hell with Trump. He got a property in Mar-a-Lago. He got a golf course and all that shit. He looking good. This nigga eat good. He ain't gonna be affected by this big, beautiful bill.
Do you mind if I bring this up? Just some little information, right, about Jeff Bezos. He just recently had a wedding, right? They said that, Jeff Bezos just recently wedded Lauren Sanchez, estimated to cost between 46 and 55 million, right? They said exactly. They said that that's only a very small fraction of his estimated 244 billion net worth. It's specified between 0.019 and 0.023 of his own wealth, man. So you mentioned the super elite. It made me think about this information I just recently came across about his wedding, right? He spent 55 million, but that's only a fraction. And guess what they compared it to? His workers. All right, they compared it to his workers. Said they could work for the next 50 years and not make that amount of money. All right, millions of dollars. So they doing the comparing and contrast between the workers that's still living off of SNAP. All right, that's living off of Medicaid and welfare. Yes, workers. full-time workers that still needing government assistance to sustain themselves and their families. Meanwhile, he's having weddings that's only a 0.02% of his net.
Let me say this. People are waking up to the fact that these small hats, all right, our tax people payers' money is going towards funding them wars, man. You know, the back and forth Iran, the weapon money that they need, you know what I'm saying, to get from the U.S., we pay for that shit, man. So people are calling these small hats out. Y'all got it?
Yeah, can you get that proverb back one time?
Gotcha.
There was some meat on that, and I was at a cold.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender."
Right, now, we're gonna break that down. We want to get the quote from one of the RAWCHAA, right?
It says the phrase "let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws" is a quote attributed to Meyer M. Shell Rothschild, the founder of the Rothschild banking dynasty.
Now bring that back.
This is Proverbs 22 and 7. "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender."
Right, so according to that quote we just read and the scripture, all right, if you control and dictate the money, the monetary system, it doesn't matter the rules that's being put out there, man, because you control the monetary system, man. Which in all actuality, if you control the monetary system, you know what I'm saying? So this is where we at, and now you're about to see what a switch to what a digital infrastructure. There was a woman by the name of Catherine Austin Fitz. She spoke about the prison planet and other financial things, and she was talking about how pretty much they're creating a society where the technocracy will be governed, and not only that, like the money that you have, it will be issued out in like pretty much like coupons, if you will. She was talking about how like if you had a certain amount of money, they'll be able to control how you spend it and when you spend it. You have like an expiration date on it, so to speak. And that's gonna lead to the chip, man. We understand, we see and understand what's happening, man. It's these average people don't see, man.
I got that word, technocracy.
Get that word a little
I'll get it right now.
Yeah, get the word a little
This is technocracy from ChatGPT. Technocracy is a system of governance or management in which decision makers are selected based on their expertise in a given area, particularly science, engineering, economics, or technical knowledge. Rather than being elected through political means, leaders in the technocracy are chosen for their skills and experience in management complex systems.
I.e. Elon Musk, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I.e. Elon Musk. Where do you think this nigga came out, man? He came from nowhere, man. And then you had the World Health. I ain't even gonna say the full thing because we don't want the video getting clipped. But you had the water. You had the who. Yeah, you had the who. You know what I'm saying? And you had Elon Musk, because people wonder like where he came from. The technocracy is always, it's been in implementation for years, man. They just now laying it out, man.
What's the fourth industrial revolution?
What we see right now, the
Virgin man.
They want you to be a cyborg and have sex with robots. Hey, no, kid up. I seen that shit with Elon Musk. You know, it was some article that they had who was talking about that. That's what they want. Well, they show you that in the fucking movie Demolition Man. The bitch Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone. He on some old school popping like this. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get up in you. You know, this bitch put she put the thing on his head and the virtual reality. That's just like what the fuck is that movie called? Ready Player One. He had to get the virtual reality. You motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? That's how these people gonna be. That's how the elite. That's how they want the people to be, man. They don't want you to be focused on, you know, all these fucking is the word the dystopian type of fucking movies. They don't want you to be worried about making money and none of that shit, man.
Can I add to you? Yeah. It's like it. I'm gonna give it right to you, right? Techno crazy. Techno, right? Dealing with the technical, and then what is crazy? You know, rule. You got it, bro.
Yeah. It's another term that's similar called technocracy, which it says is AI try to.
That's the same word. That's the same word you read it.
No, that's technocracy, but then there's another term called technocracy, which is a system ruled by technology itself, or AI and machines make the decisions and not humans.
Yeah, because that's why they had the situation with the port, when they had the strike with the workers at the port, because they don't want no automation in the ports. They don't want, because that's going to take away their jobs. You know what I'm saying? The regular people, they have been working there for 30 years, and, you know, foremen and different individuals, you know, high up in that, you know, their positions that they hold, they don't want no automation in the ports, man. You know what I'm saying? And automation take over everything.
Yeah,
You know, the food industry, you know what I'm saying? They got the Taco Bell where you can just, that's what the kiosks come in. I don't need a motherfucking, I don't need a cash register, a cashier. I don't need a fucking cashier for what? That's a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? That's just a waste of money. I don't need a cashier. I could just program, you know, you can download this fucking computer program to this artificial intelligence from the information that I got from studying people.
I was gonna say, but what the scripture says, when there's no hope, there's no vision. Basically, when there's no hope and no vision, people will do what? They like pleasure, they like simplicity, they like folly. And this, again, when you understand the system, this is the demolition of the rig. It made people become fucking idiots. So they can justify bringing the robots and MOT.
Right.
So it's a rigged game system that was meant for people to become. That's what the scripture says. What is it? Tight? Second Timothy 6 in the last day. 3 shall become like loving themselves, pleasure, become everything. It's a degenerate. But how can a system come like that? Because it's all made like that. Can I get the proof of it? Why is judge will instruct his people? The government of prudent man is well ordered. But we know the system is ordered for destruction, to destroy their own people. And the judge of the people is himself. So are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. That's why you got different branches of government. They all corrupt. And that's why now, people come into power and say, oh, this system is corrupt, Biden. The whole fucking system is rigged. Yeah. That's what the scripture talks about. Revelation said, talking about a dragon. Yep, that's it.
Hey, what Esau wanted this world to be like, if I ever saw the movie The Game with Gerard Butler, that's a perfect movie to highlight how he wants.
He was living their life through
the metaverse.
What
the fuck, man? This dude, he want to play your ass like a video game, man.
That's how it was. That's how it was in the movie Ready Player One. It was the same type of scenario.
Well, really, I don't know who played games. I remember, when they issued out Call of Duty Rainbow Six, you can take the video game, take your picture, make your name, make your creative player. NBA, what is it? 2K. You can put your face on the character, maximize the attributes. That's you. But you're like, you're short, or you're a cornball, you're a loser. But you're a hero. You that man in the game. Literally. You can live your life to the game. And people, again, when there's no hope, no vision, people will resort to shit like that. So they make video games. A lot of people just be like, yeah, lose. You got the sippy cup. You don't need a leader. You don't need to lead a chair. Mom, you can make me a sandwich. So you're the game character. So you're not living reality.
That's what it is with social media. You know, like Instagram. You know what I'm saying? People, you could be whoever you want to be on TikTok. And to the point you were saying with the individuals that, you know, we watched the movie. It was a movie called Wedding Crashers. I don't know if brothers ever seen that, just to form a mental image for you. You know what I'm saying? That nigga Will Ferrell, this nigga lived in a house with his all. He lived in the basement and shit. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know, so that's how they want. They don't want no people who just, you know, entrepreneurs. They don't want that type of mind frame. They don't want no entrepreneurs and, you know.
You should have nothing
and be happy.
Own nothing.
Y'all brothers speaking on the technocracy and the
It's more than that.
I wanted to, if you got more, you can bring it out. I just wanted to grab this precept, which was initially about to kick it up with, right? 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And that includes the technology, okay? Because through his miracles, meaning what? Transcendence, the common course of nature through his miracles, which he about to roll out. Grab that BAHASHAM. That you got our Junior talking about the worlds, okay? Through his technology, through his miracles, all right, transcend the common course of nature, he's going to try to cause miracles to come to pass, man. All right, and you got a lot of our people, hey, not even just our people, the world, man. When any new technology rolls out, these motherfuckers stand in line to go get it, man. All right, the new system, the new phone, they stand in line the night before that bitch drops to go get it, man. Go ahead, Elder.
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fucking technical. Like old cars. Them new cars is fucking trash.
Yeah, that's why they.
It's too much.
That's why they showed you all the work behind all the Teslas was crashing. You know what I'm saying? It is. The car got
Even
spirits on
that
it.
AI movie that we went to see,
Afraid.
where AI supercomputer ruled the world.
Right, yeah, right.
Slow down.
But the car took over and crashed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Her boyfriend. That was her boyfriend.
That's those autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Let me finish this verse and bring the rest of that definition
Yep,
up.
yep.
1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. James 4:4, right? For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust of the world, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
And that's why they made women whores. Whores love, hey, you allow women to gather blood, she loves pleasure. And then men don't have no vision, don't have no hope. Hey, he's going to seek pleasure. So that's an easy takeover. When shit is just out of whack and out of order, it's an easy, smooth takeover. It's just not a threat. Men don't want to fight no more. Men say, you know what, I got to do it, I like it. Fuck it.
Oh, you said that. Since you said that.
I don't need to lose it.
Trump talk about, you know what I'm saying, the World War III with Iran or stuff like that. These American people ain't ready to fight, man. Most of them are transgenders, cis and stuff like that. They can't even pass the boot camp test, man. It's over.
I seen the chick in Wawa.
They don't know what Wawa is. They don't know that.
She had a military uniform. She had a military uniform. I said, "Oh, you ready to fight for Putin, huh?" She said, "Oh, no, I have a baby before I go over there." I said, "Man, I said, you can't have no kid and just desert your crew." I said, "Yes, I will." I said, "Damn, that's the mindset of America. They really not doing it for war or honor. They're just doing it for money."
I got a precept. Real quick.
Go ahead.
This is what Kamaki said. This is Jeremiah chapter 51:30. You got that? Now let's fucking go, man. It says, the mighty men of Babylon have performed in the fight. It says they have remained in their holes. It says their might have failed. It says they become as women. It says they have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken, man. Yeah, man. So just going into what the elder brothers is going into, man. You see the current condition of the state of mind of the people, mainly the men of America. It's you know what I'm saying? They've pretty much been, in a mindset of feminism. You know what I'm saying? And we see that they're not set for war, man. Because we understand what's happening right now. Like we're approaching World War III, which is in the scriptures, the war of Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? HAQADASH, which is Valley of Truth.
That's what. People are seeing what you're doing to your veterans, man. How you abandon them, shit upon them, and all that shit like that, right? They, the people that come back from these wars, they fucked up in the head, they do drugs and stuff like that, and it's just there's no benefits from it. And most people are against the fight against this country, so there's no way in it. Listen, bro, I'll tell you right now. If I was to get selected service and all this shit like that, you ain't gotta worry about the war, taking the war over there. I'm bringing it here. Because I'm, you know what I'm saying? Put a gun, hey, the sergeant, guess what, man? I'm gonna bring the war here. Like this.
Well, a lot of people fucked up because they realized it was never really weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
So then people start seeking and start looking up certain things. Like, I want to live for nothing.
Yeah.
That was murdering little children, women, and men. That's why that guy, what's the guy with the dread, the sniper?
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got I always mention it with the General Smedley Butler. Smedley Butler, he wrote a little, it was like a poem or some type of letter or whatever it was. I forget in particular what it was.
Yeah,
But he was like a high-ranking official in the United States Army. You know what I'm saying? And he wrote in the Marines. Forgive me. I think it was. Matter of fact, for brother, look it up. Smedley D. Butler. He wrote the little. It was like a short book. It was titled "War is a Racket." You know what I'm saying? And he had experience in the United States Marine Corps or the United States Army, whatever branch of the military that he was associated with. This nigga came to the realization this shit is a fucking racket. And he was basically talking about how they send your children to go to war and for them and you know what I'm saying, and how that shit is a racket. How the rich get richer. You got something in your phone?
Yeah. Smedley Butler. It says he was an American whistleblower and anti-war activist. It says a former major general in the Marines.
Yeah, he was a major general in the Marines. So he was, you know what I'm saying, he was a high-ranking official, man. He wasn't just a PI or a GI. Forgive me. He wasn't just no motherfucking GI. He was a high-ranking official in the Marines.
They call them Jorheads, huh?
Yeah, and GI too. Yeah, government issue, which would also go back to galvanized iron. The GI, man.
It says at the time of the death, Butler was the most decorated Marine in U.S. military history.
Ooh, hold on. He was the most decorated Marine. So he had major experience, man. Purple Hearts, different awards, the Lone Star, and whatever evidence these awards is, the sum cum laude, summa cum laude. You know what I'm saying? All these motherfucking awards these niggas be giving out to these people, man.
And they say once a Marine, always Marine. That's
To be to the throne of the Marine. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of mind frame the majority of. That's why they call them jarheads. That's really a derogatory term towards you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you had with the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? They told them Jakes. They told them niggas go home, soul brother. This ain't your fight. You know what I'm saying? You see? So these motherfuckers, this dude Smedley D. Butler, man, he had what you call like front line experience. What else is it?
It says after retiring from the Marine Corps, Butler became an outspoken critic of American foreign policy and military interventions.
And he was an outspoken critic of American foreign policy and military intervention, man. So he wasn't in agreement with that shit, you know, because he probably was to be a major general. This nigga was in the Marines for fucking 30, 40 years before he probably went into the Marines when he was 17 or 18 years old, you know.
It says which he saw being driven primarily by the U.S. business interests.
Oh, yep, the U.S. business interests. Keep going.
In 1935, Butler wrote the book War is a Racket, where he argued that imperialist motivations had been the cause behind several American interventions.
You see?
And it says with that in 1935, where he argued that war primarily serves the interests of the wealthy, corporations, not the public or soldiers.
Yeah, and that's another indication, you know, the way the economy going in the society in regards to like the cost of living, you know, like food prices and gas and shit like that. That's an indication that they about to go to war. You see?
And that also influences what I was bringing out, how, you see these veterans homeless in the streets. Because they're seeing that, they're seeing, and I went over there and fought, I didn't kill, I didn't did all this for oil, natural resources, gold, and all these various things that it fucks with their mental. So now they fucked up on the street, asking for money, this, that, and so forth, and you've seen the United States government abandoned them.
Yeah, like they like Lieutenant Dan. From Forrest Gump.
That's a man of war that suffered poverty, man.
Yeah.
Republican shot. You say that's 1935, right?
Yes,
and that's
sir.
back when people were in that mindset of going hard for the war and for their country, right? Fighting hard for their country. That was actually right before the many of these projects in America were built in the 1940s and the 50s and the 60s. All right, Jake was in the mindset of going work because they were sending Jake to war.
says the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. It says they have remained in their holds. It says their might had failed, and they became as women.
So they went from being this mighty, militant-minded, fighting for their country, patriotic spirit, all right, in the early 1900s, to being forborn, to wanting to fight, and now they're doing it like the Elder Corral just mentioned for a check. They're doing it now for government benefits, for a Hellcat, for a Camaro. They're doing it for different motives now. It's not for the country. It's not, for the women. It's not for the motive of the nation of the country, man. Because they now see it's all for oil. It's all for this, for that, man. There's war crimes that take place, man. You have to kill dogs. You have to kill children. All right, you have to kill women. Many a times they ain't even doing nothing to you, but just because. Nicholas Urban, the other brother, he be speaking on it, man.
Yeah. A lot. Like I ain't
Go ahead.
A lot of them do. Cause I like a couple months ago, I was heavy on there, like watching like it's everything on the internet now. Everything got a podcast. So now you got like these special forces, Delta Unit niggas. They go into their experiences. And they say that like. You go over there thinking you the hero and you saving the day. You realize like, damn, we low-key the bad guy. We coming in, breaking into his house in the middle of the night. He ain't doing shit. We over here executing this shit.
Edward Snowden had that same revelation. I just want to bring this up real quick for that precept you brought, right? This is from G. Michael Hoff, the one who is the author of Those Who Remain, The New World, number 7, right? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. That was there in the 1930s. Those strong men, they created this good time that you people and women, men and women, are benefiting from today. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And we're in that point now where weak men that's joined the army. You got fucking moles in the army, man. You got fucking women in the army, man. Come on, man. This army is weak,
That's
man.
why. That's why. See, the United States military, it ain't what it used to be. Because at one point, that's why they were so strong. You know what I'm saying? That's why they were so effective. You know, like the Roman military. Wasn't no fucking women up in there. You see, it wasn't no bows and none of that shit, man. And even when you go back, see, like when you get the all right, we got Independence Day. Went into the first and second Continental Congress with the motherfucking Revolutionary War, the 13 British colonies. You know what I'm saying? You know, gained their independence from taxation without representation. You know, the Boston Tea Party, all that shit. You see, that's when the military, the nigga Trump, we just celebrated the 250-year anniversary. That should go back to the 1700s, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a point I was gonna make, man. But go ahead, whoever got a precept, go ahead, Elder. Let the elder get here. Let the elder brothers get theirs, man.
Romans 8:22 says, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth and pain together until now, and not only they, but also which have the first fruits of the Spirit." Now, like for instance, you know, these Americans, they're upset now because they're not taking the American dream. Now, through our elders, through YAHAWASHI and our elders, we understand that there was no American dream. We know our dream is what the kingdom. And that's what we're groaning for. But these people here, they're going back, what we always going to, the 1970s Baywatch. They want to go back to the golden days of America. That's why you got the YouTube channel now and say, oh, this was the 90s. Them days ain't coming back.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, them days ain't coming back.
The motherfucking Converse. You know what I'm saying? The leather coat, you got Converse, all the chains.
The days where America was great when we was
When niggas at the bottom.
and that's what Edomites, you know what I'm saying? That's what they want. They want us to be back down at the bottom. Because now you complaining because you're doing bad. Fuck you, man.
That's what they did in history. They always called it. We talked about it on Wednesday. They called it the Dark Ages because the Jake was dominating, and they called it the Great Depression because Jake, you know what I'm saying. So when they are in poverty, they call it. They make this turn, you know, throughout history as this gigantic, dramatic. Yo, this time was the worst time in fucking world history.
Yeah, like I was saying with the military, it ain't what it used to be, man.
Yeah, bro.
You see what I'm saying? When you go back to the like I mentioned, the 250th anniversary of the creation of the United States military.
with George Washington and all them niggas, and them different generals and shit.
Yup, you remember that old Edomite that video? She said,
Yeah, he smacked the hell out of her.
no, he said, give me a gun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You took off, right?
Yeah.
He said,
Yep.
he said,
Yeah,
give me a gun.
yeah.
Shoot him right now.
Yeah, it was a spirit, bro.
Yeah. That was the old ancient doctrine.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that no
Yeah,
more.
that was my men were willing to go to war. It was an honor for them.
He was an old.
He was old. He probably was in World War II. He probably was right beside Smelly Butler.
Right.
He probably was right in another motherfucking 30s, man. He was probably right beside him, man. You know, and that's that, you know.
No.
Yeah, his buddy came to get him, man. You know, but it's gonna come a point in time where ain't nobody gonna be intervening. Cause I thought the elder was talking about it was one situation where the bitch was wilding on stage and the Edomite, she's like, help me, brother. And he slapped the taste out of her mouth, man. You know, because at the end of the day, them Edomites like that, they more masculine, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't feminine like this generation. That's why they'll say the shit that they'll say. They'll say it's a nigger. He's like, the bitch African American. He's like, it's a nigger. You know what I'm saying? They ain't afraid to express how they really feel towards you niggas. It's the younger generation, man. You know, they go crouching. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they politically correct. PC is politically correct.
You mentioned it last week. A euphemism. I had to look that word up.
Yeah.
When they, like you said, they give a more PC term.
Yeah.
Because when you say the initial or what it really is, it's too harsh. All right. A euphemism.
Go to that new speak.
Yeah, that new speak, man. So the scripture talk about they women they have from born to fight. The military ain't the same no more, man. That's why Putin know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he taking the position that he taking with Ukraine, even though Ukraine is a part of NATO, if I'm not mistaken, or it's either NATO or the EU. I think it's NATO though. I think Ukraine is a NATO member, if I'm not mistaken, man.
No,
NATO?
not NATO.
What is that? Oh, okay.
They was trying to join NATO.
Yeah,
That was part of
right.
the contract.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why Putin went in there, cause Salaki. You know, so they wanted to be a part of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, man. You know,
They not a part of NATO or the EU.
yeah, no, the brothers they said it. They wanted to. They was like applying for it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was about to say I was just going for
They said the middle, like between NATO and EU countries that's joined with NATO. They like right in the middle of it.
I got it. This is Sirach.
No, finish yours.
It says, going back to Romans 8:3, and not only they, but also which have first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit the redemption of our body. We understand going to the kingdom, but it seems like it's so far off, right? But we still hold faith to this truth, and we still have a vision, we still have hope. The other people in America, they're seeing that, what we have done for this country, not a payoff. Now it's like, we live in check to check. So there's no payout. So it says,
And it's so far-fetched to these people that these are the people that are next in line to rulership. And these are the people that all these other nations are going to serve and be under. Like it speaks about the wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You know, we say, hey, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the next in line to rule over all these other nations. It's going to be an everlasting rulership. And they look at us like, you ain't got no army, you ain't got no military, you know. Y'all the ones living check to check, and y'all gonna do what? You know? So it's far-fetched to them.
right. They don't understand their adoption.
Exactly.
Going back to
It's spiritual.
the Paul tell you.
Right.
What's the benefit of being an
Exactly.
Israelite? We got the adoption, the covenant, the promises.
Yep.
But the thing about it, we're waiting for
Right,
that. We're
right.
learning in that. We're growing ourselves. Everybody's growing. Like the scripture says in Proverbs 21, when the wicked bear
Right.
Everybody's mourning, but the thing about us, we have hope.
Because on a carnal level, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
It don't add up. Statistics don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
That's that way.
You know? Yeah, come.
Wisdom bringing forth the
Exactly.
kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
So finishing off, it says, for we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. And Esau gave his people.
do this, fight for the country, to get the American dream. People that fought for it, they said, come back. I'm broke. I'm fucked up. I can't get health care. I'm homeless. So people are now like they're crashing out. You know?
This is Sirach 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffer poverty. And that's what we're seeing, man. People are like, man, hey, if I get drafted, I ain't going to war, bro. Lock me up. Throw me in jail. If I see how y'all treat me. And these people that served in World War I, World War II, and these Afghanistan, Iraq, they coming over here, they fucked up, and y'all got them out here in the streets, man.
And look at it, not even just the warriors, I mean, not the military.
Yeah.
Everybody in society has worked a job for 40 years. Yeah. Then they got a retirement. Nothing to show for. Everybody's getting fucked. And this is, you was told as a kid, if you do this for America,
You'll come back with women.
Everybody gonna love you, you know?
Especially them Jakes. You know, Jakes should have took the position like that nigga Cassius Clay. You see, the nigga who formerly known as Muhammad Ali, who's formerly known as Cassius Clay. When you watch that movie with the nigga Will Smith, that nigga said, "You my Mosul, but I want to get through. You my Mosul." He was talking to that devil, bro. He was talking to them devils and shit, cause they wanted him to go over there and fight in the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? Jake won with that shit, man. You know, and that's how it's gonna be now. Because it's going to be a military draft too. Because that's what Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay, he got caught up in the military draft. And that's because they was going to war. You got something?
I was gonna add, I seen the original interview. Yeah. That was specifically targeted at Esau.
Yeah, I did.
He was talking about like the Japos and all that. He said, they ain't my enemy.
V.A. Kong ain't never killing my. He was saying that. He was saying, "You my poser when I want freedom. You my poser when I want liberty." He was going in. That dude Muhammad Ali was, man.
And
you know.
And I said that the original interview when Muhammad Ali was speaking about what the other brother talking about, he was specifically targeting Esau because he was saying like the Japos, which is Ammon, you know what I'm saying? He was saying like they ain't really the enemy. He was saying like all of the ones that's really giving me hell.
Who are praise say you my poser. The word poser means you are opposition to me. That's what basically what Muhammad Ali was saying, man.
Yes.
You know. Go ahead.
Well, what did y'all just read though?
Romans 8.
I had a precept.
Can I finish it now?
Yeah, I read it.
It says that for we are saved by hope. The hope that is seen is not hope. For what they may see it, why do we get hope for? But we hope so that we see not and pay the kingdom. That's why, again, as years have gone by, as long as brother's been in the truth, he's been increasing and growing better in character. So everybody else around us and what they need.
Their hope is dying, our hope is growing. You know, because they look at us like, how we excited about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all excited about this? You know, we excited about what's going on, bro. You know?
That's because 2/3 of our people, 66.6% of you, y'all in the house of Saul. And Lord willing, YAHAWASHI, RAWCHAA, the house of David. The scripture talk about how the house of David went stronger and stronger. You know what I'm saying? In the house of Saul, it just got weaker and weaker to the point where it didn't exist no more. So you niggas, you know what I'm saying? Spiritually, y'all represent the house of Saul. It's gonna come to a point where you niggas ain't gonna exist no more, man. You know? Y'all got something? We about to get some calls and
Yeah, come on. This is Sirach 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffer poverty, and a men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such, and one for the sword.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point. He made a video, and for brothers that do know Elder D-Mash, he served in the military. He had to do particular things where he had to actually
unalive.
Unalive people, man. And Elder D-Mash did a video a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, and he was speaking about his personal experience regarding that matter, man. And that's a real effed up position, man. here it is, you put your life on the line, literally to serve a country, you know, and they don't hold to their promises, man. All right, and a lot of them veterans and stuff like that, they depending on those benefits and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just the money that they be having, and they don't see through it, man. Because America, this is a corrupt place, man. Yeah. See, people they complaining about this place for what it is, man. We've been telling y'all this place is wicked, man. We've been telling y'all that this place is not for your benefit, man.
Yeah, and if I can say this, one of the reasons why a lot of these like military veterans be fucked up and conflicted in the mind. Because of like the oath that they take. Yes. It's something. Hey, like with doctors, for example, you got something on that. The Hippocratic oath where they promise to do no harm and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like similar to that with the oath that's associated with the military, man. And that's why they be conflicted about that in their mind after they serve. And you know, like brother said, they go in like, hey, I'm a fucking bad guy.
That's a book. There's two books, you know, Roche did by Dr. Paul Anderson. There's Dirty Little Secrets and More Dirty Little Secrets. And he goes heavy to Reconstruction era, the Black Code, Jim Crow era, and basically how Jake in the 1800s, the late 1800s, and the early 1900s, and the early 1800s, going to World War I, II, and how Jake would put their life on the line just to come back and have to go through racism. Yeah. And they got nothing. And it said after World War II, when they fought and won the war with the Germans, Jake, Esau hated on him. So they have come back and said, "Nah, you ain't getting no house. And they're taking your money. And you niggas ain't gonna have your food." And Jake during them time fighting for their freedom and fighting for a little bit of coin and shekels. The banks were getting all over on them. Basically, at the end of the day, Jake did not get what they fought for. So, and you go through history, that's one thing Esau will tell you, other people forget. No, that was far long ago. But I know, I'm pretty sure certain brothers have seen their great-grandfathers and great-grandparents.
Whatever that movie Sinners goes into.
Yes.
He basically came back from, I think it was World War I and fought just to come back and deal with, racism and
there you go.
all that shit.
Yeah, it was a movie, another good movie called like Mudbound. I don't know if Jake's familiar with that movie, but that's a good movie that illustrates, the position that Jake was in. And they came back for the war. It shows you that because it's a thing too, because when they went off the war, it was integration. That's what they integrated with blacks and whites. You know what I'm saying? So after the war, you would have Jake that was over there in Europe or Vietnam, whatever country they was in particular. Right, they'll be friends with the Edomites. Friends, smoke cigarettes. Go to what's shit called when they go off leave. I forget what it's called. They go on leave, go to the bars. Right. Fuck with the $2 hoes. Bangkok and whatever fucking country they was in. Right, they was cool with the Edomites. They was buddies and shit. But then when they came back to America, you know what I'm saying? It was still segregated. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't be friends. You couldn't be seen out in public. You'll get hung. You'll get lynched. You know what I'm saying? Or you, if you was an Edomite, you'll be labeled like a nigga lover. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be ostracized from that point. But we watched a movie, Mudbound. If brothers not hip to it, that's a good movie that show you that.
And I spoke with one of my uncles that's still living. My grandfather's brother. He even said during the 50s and 60s it was very segregated. They had black school, white school, etc. That was in Richmond. Now, prior to the civil rights movement, that's when Esau used that terminology to deceive America, but integrate. Because prior to that, Jake was segregated. He was segregated. He won't know none of that. That's a big building. But that was all the smoke screens, sexual information, and all this other bad.
And even further, the war program. It's hard to have segregation on a high level.
That's what I'm saying.
And to get Jake to go serve in the military right next to Esau and these other nations in his military, bro.
And that go back to that whole manipulation, deception, and witchcraft and sorcery that Esau played, put on the mindsets of the people. That's why everybody messed up. in this whole big world.
Yeah, that's why niggas celebrate independence. That's why niggas selling independence. They right motherfucking now. That's why. For this motherfucking these warlocks and these wizards and these witches with these motherfucking enchantment. That's why niggas celebrate niggas, what that shit called Stockholm Syndrome. That's why niggas celebrate the 4th of July. Like I mentioned, when you go to the 4th of July, they go back into the independence from the 13 British colony from the British Empire. It wasn't no niggas up around that in the second continent.
Was that the birth of the Illuminati? July 4th,
yeah,
76.
Right. It wasn't no niggas in the second continental Congress. You know, the representatives that they had from each of the colonies that met in I think it was in Philadelphia. I think it was somewhere in Philadelphia where they met for the second continent. It wasn't no niggas up in there, man. You know what I'm saying? So niggas been assimilated to this, you know, this American lifestyle. Like you really believe you American. You really believe in equality.
Oh. They used to put the protest flag down. They say, yo, we ain't protesting the so-called migrants get deported. Yeah. We ain't protesting these other things. Yeah, now we celebrate July 4th. It's July 4th of July, guys.
Elder, think about it. What the fuck is that?
Right.
What the fuck is so fascinating about fire?
They represent the water.
Yeah, the bronze jersey, and now we go back to the Star Spangled Banner. It represents independence. That's what that's why they shot the fireworks. Right. You know what I'm saying? In celebration of their independence from the British rule, from the British from taxing them. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. Because that's what they went to war for. We go into the Revolutionary War, it was because the British was taxing them niggas, man. With the Boston tea, they monopolized the tea market. They was taxing them motherfuckers, you know, without their consent. You see? And that's when the colonies came together. You know what I'm saying? What the fucking war?
And they wouldn't have won was a foot jet.
Exactly.
They literally had like extra bodies to actually go to war with.
Yeah.
And they had so-called black sacrifice. So they can put Jake on the front stream and say, you got some bodies.
Yeah, it's that movie, the war movie with what the fuck is this nigga name? Denzel Washington. No, it's an older movie. Denzel Washington. Glory. Well, I think Glory was associated with the Revolutionary War. If I'm not mistaken. But when you watch the end of that movie, the conclusion of that shit, them niggas just died. Them niggas just died on Normandy. I think they were going back to storming Normandy or some shit like that, bro. I forget all the details to it, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you watch a movie like Glory, they had the nigga like Denzel Washington and Lawrence Fishburne. That nigga was like, was that Lawrence Fishburne? No, Salaki. What's that nigga name? Morgan Freeman, Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's 50 years old, 60 years old. They got the young Edomite nigga, man. From Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This nigga, he's the general, he's the nigga in command over us. That's why them niggas went to a hell of gunfire. If it was the case, if Morgan Freeman was in that position, they probably would have died. They probably would have overcame the motherfucker, man. Yeah.
that was based off the American Civil War.
Okay, Salaki, but it's still relevant. You know, the Civil War. Nonetheless, you hear me out? Yeah, nonetheless. Y'all got something?
I got a quick precept. This is Proverbs 3:31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. You know, that's what you see our people doing. They're shooting off fireworks. They got their American flag shirts on, pants. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating their oppressor's holiday, man. You know, when, so-called America received its so-called independence, you know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were part of that, man. You still getting lynched, whipped. You were still on them cotton fields on the plantations, man. Come on, you got it, bro.
It wasn't. Look, June, July. It was. You niggas wasn't free at June 10th and June 19th, 1775, 1776. Yeah, you niggas wasn't free then. That shit came about like a whole another 200 years later, bro. I'm Salaki, about like a whole 100 years later. 1863, something around that shit with the Emancipation Proclamation. You niggas wasn't even free then.
They were free after that.
Yeah, that's right. Cause they had the black codes, Jim Crow laws, all that shit. You niggas wasn't, and they said that's when a lot of more Jakes was losing their lives when they did that Emancipation Proclamation.
Don't say that.
Come on.
Real quick, barbershop. So can you bring that preset back? I got a preset for you. Gotcha.
This is Proverbs 3:31 again.
Pancakes up.
Hey, you know I do. You know I do.
It says, this is Proverbs 3:31.
Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways.
This is Psalm chapter 37, verse 1. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, and the word fret means worry. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, man. And the reason why you ain't supposed to, man, because we understand their actual destiny, man. These niggas going into slavery, man. These Edomites, man, these heathens, man, all of them going into slavery, man. All we gotta do is continue doing what we're doing, man.
That's right.
They, regardless of what they say, what they believe, because you got some hardcore Edomites that wholeheartedly believe in the Bible. But guess what? They don't fucking matter, man. They going into slavery, man. It don't matter what I believe in Jesus and I like my Lord and Savior. You know they touch your legs.
Like, hey,
fucking touch
right, like those Edomites during the civil rights era, when they was doing the sit-in with the niggas. They was, you know, hand in hand, kumbaya. They was walking like every hand all about. With the Edomites, they poured motherfucking milkshake on them and the niggas, man. Even you Edomites, they was doing that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't, it don't matter.
They going into slavery, man.
Going into slavery.
The scripture say, go hand, join the hand. It shall not go unpunished.
That's right.
Some relevant information to the topic that was being mentioned, right? The 1776, like the other brother mentioned, you Jakes were enslaved. All right. It says, no, the 3/5 of a man clause is not in the Constitution anymore, because you were counted as 3/5 of a man, a fraction, right? It was abolished by the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868. The clause part of the original Constitution, which I was going to bring this up because the other brother mentioned the oath that military officials take. Not only military, but also officer personnel. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
These government officials, all the
There you go.
that shit.
This was initially a part of the Constitution, but it was ratified. It was changed in 1868. The clause part of the original Constitution stipulated that enslaved people will be counted as 3/5 of a person for purposes of representation.
RAWCHAA, real quick, bro. That's what Esau always has considered Jake, man. He always considers you less than a human being, man. That's why Elder Yashwan, we always go into the pseudoscience, man. This nigga, the IQ, the intelligence quotient, the IQ test, everything was centered around him being better, more superior than you, Jakes. Meanwhile, man, yo, you Edomites, you are the inferior, man. You're not better than Jake in any aspect of life, man. Spiritual, mental, physical. You are the lesser, man. The scriptures call you the base man, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It says the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, is a cornerstone of American constitutional law, primarily focused on citizenship, equal protection, and due process. This was in 1868, all right? Almost 100 years later, after America gained its so-called independence, you niggas was not free. You were counted as 3/5 of a man.
Bro, and then real quick, man, that's why you wonder if you're a Jake and you watching these movies, you wonder why Esau Edom always propping himself up to be like this
Knight in shining armor.
Right, this knight shining armor. And Call, what were you saying? Like Esau always promoted himself as being a hero. He's against evil and all that. Like nigga, that ain't who you are.
Yeah, he a humanitarian.
Right, he a humanitarian. He is a philanthropist. Yeah. He paints himself as being Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark. Like that ain't true, man. You wicked, man. You're like you the devil, man. Like bro, you gotta understand that this man ain't who you portray yourself to be, man.
Yeah, he masquerading.
Yeah, man. This shit should piss you off as an Israelite man, bro. Like the way this nigga going around portraying himself to be, man.
Because really what he going around portraying himself to be is us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Our Lord, our Lord and Savior, Heavenly Father, he going around portraying himself and masquerading to be us. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't got a problem. Niggas is cool with letting the white man come to the barbecue.
Yeah, man. Right.
It's a white man over there, right?
Bring him on over, man.
They got the camera on and everything going viral. The white man, the nigga, the UPS driver, get a plate. Get some of that goddamn pork
He's
sauce.
them and all that. That's my brother, man.
Hey, all you gotta do is hit the
Right. Yeah, he even done it. He cool.
No,
he
right.
And he got Jordans on, so
Yeah,
cool.
hey, that nigga play the saxophone at the White House.
Right. And he got a blunt. That's how you win you Jake's over, man. Go ahead, man. That shit is crazy,
They
man.
don't hold Jake will hold Esau the same standard because if you a celebrity, a gangster, rapper, or something like that, you gotta check in with
Yeah,
the motherfucker.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That,
yeah.
that 100 nigga whack.
Yeah.
He talking about nigga get whack 100.
Yeah.
You know, man. I did that whole Esau, he can come in that bitch. Yeah. And then they target niggas with money, right?
Yeah.
Why you do Esau like that, man? That
Right.
nigga come to your hood, do anything, man.
Prime example with the nigga Meek Mills with the bunny hop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then another one, I'm gonna give you one more example. When it, with the all white party with the nigga the baby.
Yeah, I remember.
Hey, that's how you grab your bitch, man. Hey, that's how you grab your bitch. You come up from behind it, you know.
He got the double under.
They got sound.
So, and them niggas is so gangster though. You know?
I got one more.
You gonna close this up.
Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humbled himself, let's start at 10.
Say, hey, buddy.
Yeah. Sirach 12 and 10. The point is 12, right? Never trust thine enemy.
Why not?
Because never is a compound word, meaning not ever.
Let's go.
It says never trust thine enemy. Your enemies is found written in Psalms 83. Or like, as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Rust, you gotta cut it out. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Well, why though?
It says,
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you why. Beware of the beast. Right, beware of the beast. This song you already know. Y'all one of y'all brother get the song and say, read. What you talking about? Is he gonna make a wasteland of your land and mine?
That's right.
Real talk.
That's why the scripture say that it's shortened for the elect's sake, man, because he would destroy the whole earth, including himself.
Yeah.
He destroying the air that he gotta breathe.
Right now.
It says, Sirach 12, verse 11, right? It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, this the point, he stand up in thy place. Because you just mentioned that he seek to overthrow us and want to be in our position. Yeah. He want the birthright.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He trying to accuse us before the Lord.
Yeah. What's the dude name that just joined with the military platoon? What's the dude name? No, not him. It's the dude that merged. Anyways, that's what he was just saying. They just did an interview. He said basically technology is so they can be immortal, which we already know. But like he said it out his mouth just in the recent interview. So that's the whole goal. Like you just said.
Finishing up this verse, right? Sirach 12 and 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, be pricked therewith. Because you'll be cut to the core when it happens. So you got to take heed to this man. And don't let him sit, like you said, don't let him invite cook out and all that goofy ass shit, man. This man is the devil.
Y'all people think they seen the worst of Esau either. Going back to Esau's history, what he's done to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but you ain't seen the worst yet. The best is yet to come. It speaks about Daniel 12th chapter, Jeremiah 30th chapter. The brothers read Revelation the 12th chapter. Going into this devil's about to come down hard on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native, because he knows that his end is near, bro.
That's just really, let me just read a little bit more of this, because like I said, bringing it full circle, I had asked ChatGTP, how will the big beautiful bill affect the poor? Alright, and then I basically narrowed it down to what sector I was referring to or context, right? It says, I'm gonna read it one more time. If the big beautiful bill refers to legislation that cuts government assistance programs like food stamps, Medicaid, or Medicare, the effect on the poor would likely be significant and negative. Here's how. It said food stamps cut and SNAP benefits are reduced. Millions may lose access to affordable, nutritious food. Child hunger and malnutrition could increase.
What is it?
Single black woman.
Child hunger.
She eating babies.
Yeah, that's what, and that's the spirit, right? That's what it's going. That's it.
Can I add to you real quick by saying that it's no longer going to be a green tree but a drought?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to lack, it not could, it will. Can you bring that?
It says child hunger and malnutrition could increase, particularly in low-income households.
Not good. It's going to.
Local food banks and charities would likely face increased demand, economic ripple effects. SNAP spending helps local economies.
You got
Right. So it ain't even not just necessarily gonna take an effect on the poor, but it's gonna affect the rich too. Or, you know what I'm saying? That,
Because they profit off of SNAP.
that's the
You know,
point. They own the grocery stores.
Exactly.
You motherfuckers are the distributors and the manufacturer of the foods and things that we are able to spend these food stamps on SNAP benefits on, man. So that's why it's gonna affect the Edomites, because they own the grocery stores.
Right.
Save a lot right there in the hood, right there. A nigga don't own that. You want 5 minutes, you gotta save a lot right there in the hood. A nigga don't own that. A nigga don't own Shoppers World right next door to it, man. You know, it's some Edomite that live in motherfucking Chardon or Talmadge or Ewardsville, Ohio somewhere. You see? You know?
Yes, hey, you got a term called food debt.
They shooting? They shooting their guns? Niggas, man, you know?
Hey, if I may say, Salakia, just adding to your point, you got what's on this food desert. Yeah. If you got in this general area, right, only one supermarket that's supplying the entire community, right? What would you suspect, all right, if that one store closes, it's going to become a food desert? That was a major talking point in the Collinwood region. If brothers familiar with Collinwood, they had a Dave's supermarket that closed. Okay? All right, they had a Dave's supermarket that closed, and all the residents were complaining about not being able to sustain themselves. All right? So, brothers, get your closing.
That's I was trying that dude name is Peter Thau. He the co-founder of the Palantir. Y'all brothers know something about the Palantir co-founder? Yeah, that's his name. But that nigga was really serious.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Lift up.
This Revelations 11 and 14, it say the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. You know, when that second woe is World War III, that third woe is, I'm just like the second woe is World War II, the third woe is World War III, man. And the reason why it's about to happen, because, like it said in 2 Ezra 15, it say that the hurtful words is fulfilled. You know, this place is called not just America, but the whole world is ran off of wickedness, man, because of America, man. So the Lord had to do a great cleansing by sending nuclear missiles on this place and on other places on the earth. I'm gonna jump down to verse 18 to say, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged. Revelations to say, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. And who destroyed the earth? Esau, Edom, so-called white man, Brad. You know, he destroyed the earth with all his different philosophies and his technology, man. And all it did is what? Increase wickedness throughout the earth, man. It got everybody bugged out. That's why I said these nations is angry, you know. But the Lord is going to send some cleansing by destroying these ass, man. By that, that's why Apostle is a hard point this year as well. The hopeful year of destruction and the hopeful year of deliverance and destruction and the destruction of Esau, man.
Right. That cleansing is going to be of your ass, Esau. You like to talk about ethnic cleansing, it's going to be you.
Because once you get Esau off the picture, then the earth going to be perfect.
Yeah, you always use the analogy with cats. You got to kill the whole group and get rid of the whole group.
Y'all remember that scene on Black Panther when Esau came to Wakanda? This nigga started fucking shit up, man. And his ass was so stupid, he didn't know like how like all the things was being ran and stuff like that with what's the nigga name? T'Challa. Yeah. His sister was explaining to him, you know what I'm saying, how the infrastructure working on stuff like that. And he was like,
You about to wrap up, yo.
You know?
Right out, get that, since you quoted that. What's it? Get that verse.
Sirach in Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 10, the physician cutteth off along the years, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die.
Yeah, the physicians being YAHWASHI. So it's gonna cut off that long disease. The long disease being Esolim. He's the cancer of the earth. He's the one that's been going around. That's been pretty much plaguing the earth. The total disease and chaos is happening, man. And then one more thing. Get by the end. Somebody get 1 Peter 4 and 7.
You got niggas running around with guns, you know. We talk about the 250th anniversary. You know what I'm saying? The weapons of war warfare ain't corner, man. That's what niggas gonna come to the realization. I can't wait till niggas run out of bullets. That's why when you go into the joint, niggas ain't got no guns. It's different up in there. You know what I'm saying? That you know, only the strong survive, man. You got these niggas just wild as fuck, man. They people talk about a wild bull in the fucking neck. That's what these niggas is around here, man. Wild bull in the but brothers ain't scared. We ain't scared. We know how to handle you niggas. You calm a nigga down like Apostle Tahar said. You calm a nigga down. You de-escalate this situation, man. Bunch of fucking niggas, man. Come on, what y'all got?
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
Right, the scripture say, like the brother just read, it says, but the end of all things is at hand. It says, be therefore sober. What does it mean to be sober? Let's break it down. Get the verse out.
The word sober in Greek is
Strong's G 4993.
sophroneo. It says to be of sound mind, to be in one's right mind, to exercise self-control, to put a moderate estimate upon oneself.
If I can say, just to sum it up, is to be circumspect. If you're not sober-minded, you're not aware of your surroundings. Circumspect means to see. An individual who's not sober-minded is not aware of his surroundings and what's going on. That's why many people who are inebriated or drunken tend to crash because they're not aware of their surroundings and the things that's around them. To be of a sound mind, a whole, complete mind, ultimately related to the scripture.
The scripture says the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but a sound mind.
There you go. There you go. Yep. And like the right Howard said, so you want to make sure you want to make sure that the Lord has not given you the spirit of fear, but you're in your right mind, man. You know what I'm saying? So, we praise edifying, you know what I'm saying? With that, we want to give all praise and glory to
Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
All right, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, RAWCHAA, LAIWALAMYAM, peace and mercy to the elect. And the Lord wants to edify day to you. Shalom.
Shalom.
I know somebody's not going to